Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your brother, your friend, Humanist TV on the show. I want to say a very, very, very happy Sunday to every one of you. So if you are watching me right now, if this is your first time of being with me on my show, please kindly subscribe to our channel, Niger Watch YouTube channel on YouTube, and follow me on Matter Rising with Humanist TV or the United Southern Nigeria, where you're going to get the latest news of what is happening around Nigeria and in the world. I want to say in my station here, I believe so much in politics, economy, and anything that will better the laws of our people. I'm not into saga. I'm not a sagaist, and I will never be part of it, guys. And before I start my topic today, I just saw a video, that was done by my friend Desmond Usazua, the guy who was also one of the guys that was in APC. We had a debate together, and he could not actually stand the test of time. I don't know if I'm talking. So, Mr. Desmond, sir, I saw your video, and I know you really want my attention, but just truly, I'm not going to give it to you guys. Stephen doesn't give attention to people that I feel is they are quite inconsequential when it comes to things that we cannot actually explain or buttress. If you want to get me, please call me privately, and I can give you lecture on why I said what I said on the last show, where my sister Stainless Ipamonde and the CEO of Niger Watch, Elvis, was on the show. Okay, guy. Thank you very much. So let us not go there. Let me just kick on. It's going to be a very brief one. In the last 1 week, we have been having issues, and the world has been a little bit unstable as a result of the conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. And people have said a lot. I've watched so very many, analysis. I've watched so very many videos. I've tried to actually, see it, in the middle of the entire, situation, to see where I'm going to or what I'm going to say. Now, the first is I'm going to take religion out of it. Okay, I'm going to take religion out of it. I don't want to base my analysis on the religion aspect of it. Okay, so that people don't say, oh, because you're a Christian, and Jerusalem or Israel is a little bit closer to your belief, then you decided to pitch tent with Israeli, or you are a Muslim, and because the Palestinians are Muslims, that also makes you to pitch tent with them. No, I want to be on the neutral ground, on the fence, and we can do some little analysis. Now, you are free to counter what I say. You are free to debunk what I say. It is a free world. As fast insult will not come in this very show, because I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash, from people who would not actually like my position or my opinion on this very particular conflict. Okay, and now I'm going to say it the way it is. Before last week Monday, there was a clash between the Israeli, Arabs, Israeli on the line, put it on the line, Israeli Arabs and the Jewish Israelis, the Arabs Israelis and the Jewish Israelis. It was a conflict between them, which actually led to some few injured people within the territory of the Jewish state, not in Hamas, in Palestine, within the Jewish state. They are Arabs, but they are Israelis Arabs. They have the Israeli passport, they have the same rights, they have the same privileges, they have everything that the Jewish Israel enjoys within the Jewish state. Okay, guys. Now, They had some conflict. What was the cause of the conflict? There have been a long age conflict of who actually owns some part of the west bank of the river, okay, of Jordan. And based on the story that we had, we were told that when the Israelis were actually taken away, where the Jewish people taken away from their land, into exile, these people actually had homes there, which they actually registered in their names. And when they returned back, and they've been occupied, actually the Lebanon, who were among the people that actually drove Israelis away from their land, gave those land to these, Arabs who are Muslims. And a court judgment was made some few weeks back, if I'm not mistaken, that actually the house belongs to the Israelis. And if the Arabs who are living in that territory, in those houses, do not want to leave, they can either be evicted or asked to pay rent. It's just like after the Nigerian Civil War, the Igbos owned homes in Lagos, in the north and other parts of the country, and after at the end of the war, their houses were taken away from them. Those people who were actually powerful went to court and they got their property back. Then a few of them who do not actually have that privilege, that power, were unable to retrieve their homes. So their homes today is still being occupied by the illegal occupants who took over those properties. Okay, when the court, I'm telling you what happened right now, guys. When the court came and make a verdict and said those Israeli Arabs living on those properties are not actually the original owners of those properties. The property belongs to the Jews. So I don't know if the judgment was bought or not, or if it was favored or not. So I'm just telling you what happened. Okay, when a judgment is being made, what is expected of whosoever that is involved is to actually find a way to either appeal the judgment or obey the judgment. This was never done according to the story. If like I said, if any of this story is one-sided, please always come in and try as much as possible to let me know so that I can correct myself. Okay, guys. Now, where I was not too happy with the Israelis police is going to carry out the order of the court on or during the month of Ramadan, which is the holy month for the Muslims, where the Israeli actually made a mistake, is carrying out the order of the court during a very, very important part or day in the history of Islam. They did wrong there. They would have waited after the holy month, then they would have gone ahead to carry out the order of the court. But they did it during the Ramadan, and that sparked up religious coloration to the problem. If not from the beginning, it was just a family affair. The same nation who are actually dragging, saying to know, this is my house, it's not your house, this is my home, it's not your home. Okay, guys? But when what they did was being done in a wrong timing, that eventually sparked up a religious crisis or a religious coloration to what happened. Don't forget, these Israeli Arabs live in Israel. Actually lives in Jerusalem, not in Palestine. We must get this very clearly, guys. Now they have this conflict like it's a rout. It's normal. We had an issue in Nigeria. The Shahid having a running battle with the Nigerian police. Now we have the IPOB having a running battle with the Nigerian police. Then we have the OPC having a running battle with the Nigerian police. Right, guys? That does not give room for the Muslim in Cameroon or in Niger or in Ghana or in Ivory Coast to start shooting at the Nigerian civilians because there was a clash between a religious group and the state. So when these occurrences were happening, the next thing the Israelis heard was there was a rocket. As of today, over 2,500 rockets have been shot at the state of Israel by Hamas, a terrorist organization in Palestine. And over 10 Israeli civilians have been killed. Now the question is this. Okay, let me just make some analysis, then I put everything down, the story down. Now, the Israeli government had a defensive mechanism that they created called the Iron Dome. If not because of the Iron Dome that was used in trapping some of these rockets that was shot at the Israeli civilians, not the military base right now, at the Israeli civilians, more casualties would have been counted on the side of the Israelis. Let me also say, guys, in every home in Israel, they have a bunker. A bunker is where that is built in a way that not even the greatest grenade can go through. It is built for a time when there are emergencies like what happened, they can easily run into the bunker and be saved from anything that's about to happen. And even if the house collapses on them, the house, the intensity of the collapsing of the house will not affect where they are hiding. So they can go into safety. The Israeli government actually did that, knowing fully well that such a time will come, having enemies around them. Now, the Israeli government have to do some airstriking on the Palestinians, on the Hamas in Gaza. Let me say, I watched a video, I couldn't find it now, I was trying to look for it, where the Israeli government actually gave a warning to the people that was residents in that very particular building where many people were claimed to have died to leave the building. They gave them a time frame for them to evacuate that building. Either they didn't go by their personal will, or they were held hostage by Hamas, the terrorist organization in Gaza, to put them as a human shield in order for Israel not to be able to shoot at them. Nobody knows why. So before Israel brought it down, then when that went down, the entire world started seeing the attack of Israel on Palestine. Nobody actually saw who started the entire war. And I watched when Christiana Powell, this CNN woman, was interviewing the ambassador, of Israel to the United Kingdom, and she said that Israel is like a Goliath in this battle. Told to the Palestinians. Let me also explain that a little bit before I talk on the side of the Palestine. If I am bigger than you, you know my little brother, okay? You know my little brother. I am bigger than you. And I went outside. We had a conflict created by you, knowing fully where, in all ramifications, I am bigger. You decided to punch me. I was able to block your punch. You continuously hitting me until you hit me in one of my eyes. And my eyes got red and I got pained. I am going to retaliate in a manner that you will not like. The moment an 87-year-old woman sitting on a wheelchair was killed by the rocket from Hamas, a woman who survived the Holocaust of the Israeli during the time of the Civil War, who survived all the humiliation, all the pains that she went through. Now she was killed in her own home for no just reason. Now the Israeli struck Gaza, and many people, according to the Palestinians, were killed. I want to ask a question here. When the Israeli brought up their defense shield, known as the Iron Dome, every of the rocket that was shot, 90% of it was captured by the Iron Dome and was returned back to Gaza. So many of those rockets actually killed a lot of people. I also heard on news when they were doing the analysis that there was one of the rocket that was actually shot by the Hamas in a kindergarten school, a pre-nursery school, I would call it in Nigeria, that failed, and it re-exploded there, and about 9 kids were killed. But such an event was put on the Israelis as the one that actually killed them. Listen, guys, I'm not supporting killing civilians when there is a conflict. But there is one thing we cannot take away from every conflict. In every war, the casualties can never be ascertained. If you know you do not want to be killed, or you do not want your people to be killed, do not begin a war with one whom you know is more stronger than you. This is simple. It is logical. So the moment you decide to say, okay, oh, the Israelis are stronger, they have one of the best defense in the world, they have one of the best security, weapons in the world. So why would they have to use such a force on people who are just trying? Guy, the people that are trying shot over 2,500 rockets on the soil of Israel. People will say, yes, they were protecting what was happening in Israel. Do you also know that the same people today, based on the news I heard, an Arab Israeli was killed by a rocket from Gaza? An Arab Israeli. The people they thought they were protecting, one of their own had been killed. And many of the Arab Israelis now are also hiding in the bunker built by the Israelis for them in times of like this. So the simple question is this: why will you want to fight for a people who are part and parcel of a nation from outside? That's one question. Now let's go to the side of the Palestine. The Palestinian government have surrendered the entire nation to this terrorist group called the Hamas, who now takes over the entire reign of Palestine. They have rained terror on everyone in that nation that they do not even have to leave their land again. Somebody will tell me, but the Israeli has already locked up the Palestinians. Why? Why are the Palestinians being locked up by the Israelis? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Why? It's just like the same thing. Why are the Southerners sending away Fulanis from the South? Why are we chasing them away from our part of the nation? Why are we making sure that they do not actually come to us? Why are we afraid seeing a Fulani man in the night? You want to melt away because they can do anything at any time. It's just the same way with the Palestinians. The Palestinians are good people, very nice people. I worked with one of them who was my very good friend here in Sweden, where I was here. I worked with him. He's a very nice guy. He even told me that the terrorists of the group in their nation is actually giving them more problem than Israelis. So the problem they're having today is the Hamas in Palestine believe that Israel is not supposed to be on that land. And we know how Israel came to that place in 1947. We all know that. And between 1948 till around 1970, Israel fought a war. I've been fighting a war for over 70-something years with Palestine. For 75 years now, there have been a consistent war between the Palestinians and the Israelis. And the side who are actually be fighting, who are doing everything to eliminate Israel from the face of the earth are the Hamas, a terrorist organization that have vowed that Israel can never live on the land. They believed that the land belonged to them, but the colonial master took the land away from them and handed it over to Israel. Now, let me say this. The Bible, which we all read today, have been in existence for over 6,000 years. People say, don't talk about the Torah. The Torah can actually tell us what happened or what did not happen. But guys, the Torah was an historical book. That's why it became a religious book. It was an historical book of the existence of some people at a certain time, at a certain point in time. Just like the Benin Kingdom today, we talk about today. Why do we know that the Benin Kingdom was so powerful kingdom? Because there have been history that have been put in place by the people who were alive at that point in time that are not being retold to our children and children's children. That's how we now know who we were. So the same thing, the Torah today was more like an historical book because Israel is more like a religious state. So everything about that to do with religion. So the Torah was more like an historical book written based on the event that took place in those times when this particular book was written. Okay, guys? Now, when the conflict started, Hamas began to shoot rockets into Israel. Israel had no other option than to bring down what they've called special target points. There's also a video that was on the social media today. The Israeli Air Force wanted to strike a certain particular area, but they found out that children were there. They called off the strike immediately. They returned back into Israel. You can't use your children as a shield when the war is on. What does Israel do when there's a shield? Israel asks the people to go underground and hide from stray bullets, from stray rockets, from wherever. But you making your children to be at the forefront, going to hospitals, going to schools, going to public places to shoot your rocket, and at the end you take the children and the women as a shield to protect yourself from being attacked. It is cowardice. Now, I watched one guy right now who says Israel was not supposed to have retaliated because they are bigger brothers. They are more sophisticated than the Palestinians. And I said, that is wrong. Religion aside right now, I don't think, if I don't think very carefully, if the Hamas the Palestinians had the kind of technology that Israel has, if the Palestinians are the ones that actually have the kind of technology that Israel has, I am not sure that Israel will still be in existence. Israel has a nuclear weapon. They have all the sophisticated weapons you can ever think of in the world. They are one of the world superpowers today. But yet, they have not actually eliminated the Palestinians from the region. Guys, the entire Middle East region is more or less like a Muslim region. These people, these Jew people at the middle of you guys should be left alone. No need of bullying them, knowing fully well they are just there. They have no one to actually comfort them. You will make these people more vicious, more aggressive, and more determined. I know what I'm talking about. When I was in school, in primary school then, I was a very lazy guy. Very, very lazy. I must tell you, I was really, really lazy. Not that I was lazy. I never knew I had power to fight. I never knew I had power to fight. I can't fight. I can't fight. There was a girl that always bullied me. A girl. She was big. Even when we were in primary 4, she already had bobs. She already had boobs. Okay? She already had bobs. She was always bullying me. I was so brilliant, and I come out first. People that know me will bear what I'm saying now. I come out first. If I take something, I cry. It's like I failed. So every time I take results, she beats the hell out of me. So I got so tired that one day I decided to say, no, enough is enough. I need to face this lady, this girl. And I faced her. Do you know at the end of the day, in Nigeria, you pull her down, you're now using sand, using sand to feed the person. I did that. And that was the end of the war. The war ended the moment I won the battle. She stopped bullying me. She knew I actually had power. That was when I knew that I had power. Then that gave me the effrontery to defend myself in the slightest given opportunity. Knowing fully well that everybody that was around me, they were far bigger than me by age. And because they saw what I did to one of these bullies in my class, they knew that I can also do the same thing to them. So everybody started giving me a chance. So, in the same vein, if you know you push Israel to a point that they have to do everything humanly possible to protect themselves from being eliminated from this universe. You can actually push them to a point whereby they went far into producing something that no country in the world has as of today. What they call the Iron Dome that protects. Can you imagine, a rocket that goes as about 40 kilometers or wherever. The way it gets to this Iron Dome, it will bring it down. It will explode without not getting to Israel. The few ones that went through are the ones that were actually eating houses and killing people. That's the level you guys have made them to go to because of the oppression that they have within that circle. People blame them. Yes, I'm going to blame them for one thing. I'm going to blame them for the one thing I'm going to blame them for is this. They have been too lenient with this terrorist organization. Not the Palestinians. They are good people. Some of the Palestinians want, because they can't speak against Hamas. Just like in Niger State today, in Nigeria, where Boko Haram have already put up their flag, people obey the Boko Haram, not because they want to. They are afraid of what is going to happen to them. They're scared of what they are going to face. So because of that, they just, if you put a video before them now, they are going to defend that what Boko Haram is doing is right. But inwardly, they know they are under oppression. They are being enslaved by these people. That is what some Palestinians are going through in Gaza, where the Hamas is actually holding sway to. in that nation. A conflict between two brothers from different mother, the Jewish, Israeli, and the Arab Israeli. Then an outsider came in and get involved in a clash that has nothing to do with them. All because they hated Israel. That is the situation of things there. It doesn't matter how people twist it to be. Two brothers can fight. It has nothing to do with you. Fact of the matter. These are brothers. They live together. They use the same passport. They live in the same community. So whatever that took place there is just a brotherly issue that can be settled within a period of time. Like I said, where the Israeli made a mistake was going to carry out the eviction notice of the court on a day that on a day whereby the Ramadan is still on. That is where I found that the Israeli made a very silly mistake that I think I blame them for. Apart from that, every other action that be taken by the Israeli government to actually protect their people is on the right track. If the Nigerian government would have done the same thing to us, to protect us from Boko Harams, to protect us from this killer herdsmen from other parts of Africa, we won't be complaining today. So many of you saying, oh, it wouldn't have happened like that. Until you are in the shoe of someone, you cannot be able to understand the plight of the person. And secondly, when a country today, if Nigeria breaks up into two, for example, the North and the South, today, we all know today the North is already overwhelmed by Boko Haram. Okay? And maybe the Middle Belt refuses to go with the North. And it's not because some part of the Middle Belt today, from some part of Benue, they're actually part of the old Eastern states. Maybe some part of the Middle Belt today refuse to go with them. Then there's not a clash on the Middle Belt. And maybe the certain people, because of our knowledge, intelligence, and otherwise, we are not able to create a more sophisticated, weapon to push these extremists who do not like development inside, in order to take that part, Benue, which actually belongs to us from the beginning. This is what is happening today, guys. Okay, and when that now happens, these extremists want to come. The people from the North want to come into the South. Will you not put a border, a checkpoint for them to pass through, even if they are going to Middle Belt, which they claim to be part of them, and you're able to conquer some part of that Middle Belt? Will you not put a checkpoint for them to pass through? The checkpoint is to safeguard their people because of the extremist nature of the terrorist group called Hamas. Because these people can set themselves up in Israel and kill as many as they want. So for peace to reign, it is already 74 years since Israel went into that portion of land given to them by their ancestors. That we should allow some of these guys who are fighting today were not even born when Israel actually went to that land. Why don't let us forget the past? Live together as one. Religion has become one issue that has actually created more problem than you can ever think. Religion is the problem of the world today. The God who created the heavens and the earth never, ever formed religion. He had a relationship with people. But the world brought religion. And religion has split the world more than it has actually repaired the world. Palestinians are actually of the same heritage with the Israelis. If you read the book of Genesis, I think chapter 17 or thereabout, if I'm not mistaken. No, not chapter 17. I think there is the issue of, let me not quote Bible here, the issue of Abraham, Agai, and Sarah. That is the Genesis. That's where these two nationalities came in. And after that, then Esau actually went to the Palestine. It's there in the Bible. Jacob's brother, the same father, the same mother, twin brother, joined their brother in that part, and they form the state that we have today. So these guys are just families, just religions that are just tearing them apart for no reason. So we should try as much as possible to take religion away and be very objective in our analysis and discussions over issues. This maybe can stop or de-escalate the already tension in the Middle East. If we can tell ourselves the truth, nothing but the truth, is going to help us in a way that it can de-escalate whatever is happening. Let even the Muslim come out and say, Hamas, stop shooting. Enough. Israeli, stop shooting. Enough. Peace will return to the table. I know on both sides, both the Israeli government and the Palestinian government under the Hamas, there are people sponsoring them. The Israel has an ally in the United States of America, in France, and in the United Kingdom, whereby the Palestinians had an allies in Turkey, in Iran, and in Russia. So these countries are just named now as only the ones fighting the war, not these two people. It's just simple and pure. It's just simple. So they're just using the people in these two nations to clash against each other, shaking up. And because of the brainwash mentality of these guys who are the Hamas terrorist organization, because of what they believe from the Quran, which is not true, anyways, they just took that, ink, sink, and said to kill people. Somebody going to say today, you are somebody Islam today. No, I'm not somebody Islam in whatever way. But the truth must be told. If you read the Old Testament and you read the Quran, they have the same pattern of operation. There were wars in the Old Testament. God gave commandments. Israel killed a lot of people. They destroyed nations. Just the way it was in the New Testament. The people God said, go wipe them out from the surface of the earth. We all know what happened to Saul. How Saul lost his kingship. God told him, said, go kill them, every living thing. Every living thing. That was what God said. So the instruction. Every living thing must be eliminated. Every living thing. We have it in the Bible. The way they have it in the Quran. But the difference is this. We believe that Jesus came and said, no, you don't need to kill anyone. We are all humanity created by God. Let us love our neighbor as we love ourselves. The same thing if you go to the Quran, the Haidi also talk about oneness. But the radicalists, the extremists, will use the Old Testament killings as a way to buttress, to brainwash people who don't actually study the Quran on their own to create havoc on the world. We also have the same people before. The people who call the KKK in America today. They were also extremists. Today, those KKK has now become a cult, a confraternity. It was actually those people who were killing infidels, unbelievers, many years ago, who do not believe in Jesus. Yeah. It happened in Spain and many parts of the world. They kill people who do not really believe in Jesus. There was a war. They call it holy war. There was a war. If you don't believe in Jesus, they force you to accept Jesus. It happened before they were extremists also from the Christendom. Until the people, the new generation began to tell them how Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. The people began to understand that the Old Testament It's already gone. We have to embrace peace. We have to embrace love, unity, oneness, fairness. And that is what we, who are the new generation Christians today, now believe in. That's what we now preach to our people. So if they do this, see the conflict between Israel and Hamas and Palestine will end. 74 years old war. For goodness sake, come on, guys. Come on, guys. I also watched a video. Sorry, I'm going to say this now. I also watched a video that I was so shocked that a 15 years old Israeli was calling a guy who is a Palestinian Arab or something like that, a Palestinian Turkey, I don't know, a tourist. This guy was a very calm guy, nice guy. He was doing some shooting around Jerusalem, and they asked him some questions. So the video I actually watched today also. And the little girl, 15 years, she has already been brainwashed that every Palestinian is a tourist. And also watch another video again, where a Palestinian child, lady, not even a child, lady, said every Jew is bad. It's simple. Listen, guys, just who believe today that every Fulani is a bad person, but not all. Not all. The same thing also believe that every Igbo man is a bad person, but not all. It's just the same mentality. Because what we are being told today, what we tell our children, is what our children is going to tell their children. It's going to continue like that. And when that continues, so the possibility there's going to be a change in the status quo of what is happening in Nigeria will be difficult. The same thing with Israel and Palestine. So my concern is this, guys. Let peace reign in the world. I want to plead with the Israeli Prime Minister, please let diplomacy be put into play. Let the Palestinian government call their dogs, the Hamas, this terrorist group, to order. Stop shooting rockets. Israel, stop firing at buildings around Palestine. Because the truth of the matter is this: Palestinians are very poor people, really, really poor. And when I mean poor, I mean so poor. Israel is one rich hell of a country. One rich hell of a country. So that means the houses that have been destroyed in Israel can be built overnight. But I can promise you that 16-story building that was built, we have over 60-something flats that was raised down. And the other building again, where Al Jazeera and other things were raised down. The hospital that have been destroyed and many, many things that have been destroyed in Gaza cannot be built in the next 20 years because of the corruption in that nation. So you see, who is going to be the loser? We should just take away this unnecessary pretense and face the reality, guys. Who's going to be the losers now? The poor. The big guys who are actually sponsoring, championing this unnecessary war have where to run to when they are sick. Just like in Nigeria. They come on air, they talk trash. They instigate the people. Go kill Israel. We are going to die for the holy war. We will do everything to protect our heritage. The moment they are done with their ranting, they disappear from the nation. And they leave the less privileged, the poor, the downtrodden to face the music. They left. All of them, they left. The people who can't live are not the ones suffering the consequences of their actions. So let my Palestinian brothers remember this. Particularly those of you that are poor, you are being used as a sacrificial lamb to get public sympathy. Let us not do that anymore. America is spending, I mean, Israel is spending so much to protect their people. But the US is spending so much to attack Israel. Why not let us change the narrative and allow peace to reign? Let me also talk to the Prime Minister of Israel. I saw something that you said today. You know, having if Hamas refused to surrender or to stop shooting at you guys, you're going to go into Gaza, and every land that you eliminate or kill the people, you're going to take that land to be part of Israel. I want the entire world to be against that. This is a 21st century nation. We do not take people's land, territory in this time. So you fight a war, you kill them. After the war, let everybody return back again and rebuild their homes. So I think that was a little bit harsh. The international community must, as a matter of fact, reject such a statement by Prime Minister Netanyahu. That's just I have to say, guys. Thank you very much for your time. I know it's a very impromptu one. It's an impromptu one, but I just have to do that because somebody told me I need to do something and I have to go. So that's why I just have to come up and do what I did. Yeah, that's what I see. That CW, that's what they think. They think that Jerusalem actually belongs to them, my brother. That's the problem. But history has made it very clear that Jerusalem was a city that belongs to the Jews. So sometimes we just need to accept some of these things. History said it so. That's why you were there before now. That does not change the fact that the nation was actually to someone. Just like what is happening in the north today. The day the Hausas decide to rise up and said, okay, this land belongs to us, we're going to have the same problem that they're having today in Israel. Go mark it. So Arab have enough land mass to move Palestinians to the various nations around Israel so Israelis can have peace. The problem is this: the land that even Palestine has today is even enough for them to live in and have peace. And have peace. They still have, the way they live is enough. The problem is some people are bent on. Do you know that this man actually called Buhari, the Turkish president, called Buhari and said, Buhari, I hope you are going to support Palestine in this war. Yes. The guy have called Morocco. He has called Egypt. He has called Algeria. The Turkish president. That is the problem. See, they are instigating Palestine to continue doing what they are doing so that they can have a reason to say Israel is actually at fault. We must always tell people, I don't even know why a nation who has independence will also be dependent on others for help. And at the end of the day, they are the one that is actually losing more than those people who is sitting enjoying all the benefit that they got, But Islam and all Muslim is still on the old way. Don't believe anyone who says the opposite. So that's what I'm saying now. There are a few of them that are called the moderate Muslims. Moderate Muslims to Muslims that are not even called Muslims at all because of the belief that they have. They're not called Muslims. They're actually called infidel. The moderate Muslims who actually believes that the old ways can be modernized in this present world. Okay, the people who actually brought Islam to them, which is Saudi Arabia today, they are living in the 21st century way. Even the Iran today, who is actually encouraging them into this barbaric way, they are living in the 21st century today. If you go to United Arab Emirates, Dubai, They are living in the 21st century world today. So sometimes I don't even get why the poor nations are the one that is living in the stone age with the support of these ones who have seen light. And you can't imagine yourself, why will I have to obey you to kill myself when you are actually living in affluence and your nations and your people are living in affluence? It's stupidity on the side of people who actually want to start believing these people. That's the truth of the matter there. For me, I don't want to believe you. I don't want to listen to you. I will listen to Saudi Arabia to go and kill somebody when they are living in affluence. Listen, for me, I don't even listen to anybody to kill when they actually live in affluence. Or my pastor will tell me to go and kill someone, I will listen. I challenged somebody. There was a day I was discussing with one of my friends who is also a Muslim. I said, sir, he does also believe in this killing. Anyways, said, I don't know why people would think if there are seven virgins in paradise, why would the sheikh, the imams, those people that is actually teaching this thing, why would they not kill themselves immediately and go to paradise and enjoy those seven virgins? Why is it teenagers? Why brainwashing those who do not really understand the Quran or any other book for that matter? For them to go into killing themselves. All just because you want to enter heaven. But the one that is teaching you refuses to die. It means there must be something that is not working in the whole story. Because if there are virgins in heaven, then why should that be on earth? Why should I preach? I will just tell you the story in your presence there. I will go and bomb myself so that I can go to heaven and get my seven virgins. It's a simple possibility. But if I don't do that, I continue saying it and I'm still old. And still protect my children from dying. And when they kill my children, I start crying that the government killed my children. And then it means there's something that is not true about what I preach to you. That can help you, guy. The last said you can't continue to rain rocket on an urban city and want a responsible government to fold their hands. Israel is not Nigeria. That's what I'm saying now, my brother. That's what I just said now. That's what I just said. There was a clash in Israel, not in Palestine. So what has Palestine got to do with Israel? The Arabs in Israel, they are called Israeli Arabs. For goodness sake. They are Israeli Arabs. They will not have the Israeli Jews. So these guys are Israelis. We have the Nigeria Benis. We have the Nigeria Igbos, Nigeria Yorubas, and Nigeria Hausas, or Fulanis. That's how it is. So now we have a clash between the Fulanis now and other part of the world, other part of Nigeria. Then with Fulani, that's what we're saying, Fulani bringing in people from outside Nigeria to come and fight us. We're saying it's wrong. So if anybody actually, accept that, that means that is the tactics of these people, which is against the modern tactics in the world today. It's not acceptable, guys. It has nothing to do with Palestine. These are Arabs living in Israel. They have passports. They're Israelis. They're not be treated as lesser being. Okay? So we must always tell ourselves the truth, the fat truth, nothing but the truth. He said Muslims, Israel are not the Muslim and Israel are not the only people who have stake in Palestine. Christians have a stake in Palestine because Christianity has moved away from violence. The reason Christianity are not fighting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, sir. That's what I'm saying now. That's what I'm saying. Even those Christians are also being so subjected to oppression. But the world don't talk about that. They don't talk about that. It's just the same thing they have in Israel. The Arabs, Israel, they are not Jewish people. They have their mosque in Jerusalem. They have their mosque in Jerusalem. They worship in their mosque. Like I said before, guys, I'm being very frank to you. If it was the Palestine that had the kind of weapon that Israel has, Israel would have been history in the world today. Go mark my word. I'm not joking, guys. With the way manner that 2,500 rockets were shot, they were not at war. It was just a little conflict. 2,500 rockets were shot at the Israeli government, Israeli civilians. And as I was told, today they see over 10,000 rockets. 10,000 rockets from Russia and Iran to be shot at civilians, not at the military base of the Israeli government. So that shows there's something actually not working right, guys. Thank you much. Thank you very much, every one of you. I appreciate you all. I need to take a bow right now. We'll see you tomorrow as we continue with our daily, analysis and discussions.